Evening settles over London like a velvet shroud, and within the palace courtyards a single lamp flickers behind a mullioned window, the faint glow of a king still awake, searching for answers his ancestors never dared to ask. Tonight, the stakes are nothing less than the survival of a 1,000-year crown and the soul of a family that can no longer outrun its own reflection. It all begins with a letter hand-delivered, no royal crest, only William's private seal. The missive is brief, polite, but impossibly heavy, a blueprint for radical change, pressed on crisp paper that trembles between Charles's weakened fingers. Modernization, transparency, leaner finances, mental health mandates for palace staff, public audits of charitable foundations, and most startling, a provisional plan to neutralize or retire senior titles if the bearers cannot justify their relevance in the digital age. The king's doctors say stress will stall his recovery, yet how does a father read his own eclipse in his son's handwriting and remain calm? In the same hour, Catherine moves through Kensington's nursery corridors, soft-footed, collecting scattered toy knights left by Louis's latest siege of imaginary dragons. She pauses at George's door, listening to steady breathing, and for a heartbeat wonders what monarchy will mean to her eldest in 20 years. Will your Royal Highness still open doors, or merely hashtags? She tucks a blanket higher on Charlotte's shoulders, remembering the vow she made in St. Andrew's days: if destiny insists on thrones and anthems, then childhood must still echo with lullabies. Downstairs, a private aide waits with proofs of tomorrow's social media rollout, snapshots from an unannounced food bank visit, due to post at dawn. Authenticity has become Catherine's most precious currency, she spends it carefully. Across the Atlantic, dawn creeps into Montecito, and Harry shuts his laptop on yet another security briefing Zoom. The private contractors speak in acronyms, but the price tags are loud enough. He rubs bleary eyes, glances at a framed black and white of Diana, and recalls the London school run she once promised they would do together, a promise broken by flashbulbs and fate. Outside, Meghan rehearses lines for an upcoming keynote on female entrepreneurship. Archie marvels at hummingbirds that hover like tiny drones. Peace is palpable, yet Harry senses a ripple in the distance, the way coastal fog hints at an unseen tide. News alerts ping, Prince William's bold vision leaks. He scrolls half dreading, half yearning to know if his name appears, apparently not. Omission can wound deeper than criticism. Back in Westminster, cabinet ministers whisper about constitutional contingencies. Some argue William's proposals require parliamentary assent, others insist the Crown's internal reforms are beyond common jurisdiction. The Prime Minister treads cautiously, mindful that public affection for William and Catherine currently eclipses any political figure. Polls show 78% of Britons trust the prince to modernize without dismantling. Simultaneously, 62% fear a drawn-out feud could erode the nation's soft power. Newspapers sharpen pens, broadsheets hail the Cambridge Charter, tabloids tease Sun's shock coup. Pundits book studio slots. A divided kingdom prepares for breakfast headlines that taste of both hope and betrayal. Night deepens. In Clarence House, Camilla sips chamomile, rereading the proposal's subclause on title relevancy. She thinks of her children, Tom and Laura, how their quiet lives might become collateral in a war for public approval. She has spent 2 decades trading hostility for hesitant acceptance, now the chessboard is upended again. Yet even she cannot deny the data. Younger Britons engage more with William's candid Instagram reels than with formal balcony waves. The world is changing. She places the document beside her, traces the embers in the grate, and wonders if history will brand her obstacle or ally. In a corner office of the royal household, an aging private secretary exhales, remembering the last great transition, the dawn of Charles the reforming prince, back when the current king lobbied for organic farming and talked to houseplants to the press's ridicule. Change is cyclical, he muses. Each generation's rebellion becomes the next generation's orthodoxy. William's agenda may be drastic now, but by 2050 it could feel quaint. Still, he fears the timing: a sick monarch, a fractured public, an exiled spare. The recipe for crisis simmers dangerously close to the boil. Dawn breaks. Pigeons wheel above the Victoria Memorial as media vans jostle for pavement space. The BBC correspondent goes live before Big Ben strikes 6. Sources confirm King Charles spent the night in private reflection, she intones, and that senior courtiers will meet at 10 o'clock to draft an official response. Across town, William dresses in a simple charcoal suit, no medals, no fuss. He chooses a plain navy tie, Diana's favorite color. Outside the gates, a lone protester waves a placard reading "We stand with William, modern throne for modern Britain." Another banner beside it, "Hands off our history." The divide materializes in cardboard slogans and earnest faces. At hospital, Charles endures morning scans. A physician, confidential by oath, yet human, cannot help but relay whispers in the corridor. The prince's plan could cut through centuries of inertia. Charles sighs. For years he himself was the restless visionary, dismissed as radical. Now, from a frail vantage, he safeguards heritage while his heir pushes boundaries. Perhaps this is the natural order, he muses, life's river forever flowing faster for the young. 10 o'clock, the long library fills with advisers. William enters first, confident yet pale. Moments later, Charles appears, leaning on a discreet cane, dignity intact. Cameras are barred, mobiles confiscated, only the tick of a Georgian clock marks time. William speaks. Not a confrontation, but a son's earnest plea, transparency, empathy, relevance. He cites mental health stats, social media metrics, global philanthropic competition. He recalls Diana kneeling at an AIDS patient's bedside, changing policy with a single touch. The monarchy, he argues, must recapture that potency or risk quaint irrelevance. He proposes annual financial live streams, real-time charitable impact dashboards, a mental health counselor embedded in every royal household. Titles, he clarifies, are not trophies but trust markers, and trust must be earned. Silence. Charles clears his throat, voice raspy yet regal. He reminds William of the crown's mystical thread, how tradition can be anchor as much as chain. He praises his son's courage, laments the swiftness of time, and confesses a heart divided between progress and preservation. He does not reject the plan, he asks for phased integration, measured steps, dialogue with Commonwealth realms. Tears are discreetly dabbed, father to son, sovereign to successor. The meeting adjourns without resolution, but not without hope. In corridors, aides trade cautious smiles, the gulf narrowed by a few heartfelt inches. Word leaks, as it always does. By evening, hashtags bloom, #New Dawn Royal, #Team William, #Long Live the King. Harry's phone buzzes again, this time a simple message from William. Talk soon? It is more olive branch than blueprint, but olive branches have started wars and ended them. Harry types, deletes, retypes. Finally, ready when you are. Whether that becomes truce or another chapter, the world will watch. Lights blink on across palace facades. Catherine releases tomorrow's photos of an unannounced youth mental health summit, smiles genuine, sleeves rolled. Public reaction is swift, supportive. Somewhere in Windsor, Camilla pens a private note praising William's compassion, assuring him her loyalty lies with family first. She seals it not with a crest but a simple "See old habits recast in new humility." In the press room, seasoned correspondents admit they have not felt this electricity since Diana's era. Something seismic is stirring, headlines may feed on conflict, but beneath the clickbait beats a rarer pulse, the possibility that an ancient institution can evolve without breaking. Pollsters scramble, approval surges. A monarchy once criticized for aloofness suddenly feels tangible. Midnight again. William stands alone on a palace balcony, city lights glittering like constellations. He presses a palm to cold stone, feels history thrumming underfoot. He whispers, not a prayer, exactly, but a promise to the mother who taught him compassion and the father who taught him duty. Whatever tomorrow brings, the crown will beat with a human heart. The lamp in Charles's window still glows. Two silhouettes converge, king and heir, bridge and torch. Outside, the hush deepens into anticipation. A new morning is on its way, and with it a monarchy, perhaps bruised, perhaps glorious, ready to meet the dawn. Stay tuned. History is no longer written solely on parchment, it unfolds in real time, pixel by pixel, breath by breath, and you are watching it happen.